Hi guys, I am Hillary Mulick, a wedding photographer based in the Carolinas, and I love using this channel to educate other photographers on all things business and photography. And this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to make a rain plan for wedding days. So if you are a wedding photographer, then you probably shoot weddings because that's what a wedding photographer does. And depending on where you live, you might even encounter some days where weather is not very great. Typically, rainy wedding days, I think, are the most common. So I wanted to talk to you in this video about how to make a plan for rainy wedding days so that they can go as smooth as possible. And it also helps, having this plan make your couple a lot more calm and not so worried about getting pictures in the rain on their wedding day. So the first thing when making a plan for a rainy wedding day is I want you to have a plan for locations that you're gonna take the couple for their photos. So think about, are there any covered locations? Is there a covered patio that you can take them to for photos? Is there a big room indoors that has big windows for that natural light that you can take photos at? Just think about different places that you can take them that is not out in the center of a field where they're gonna definitely get rained on. So think about just some covered options that are gonna be good as far as locations that you can take them if it ends up raining on their wedding day. Another thing I want you to do is talk to the venue about what their rain plan is, because typically if it's not a rainy wedding day, they might have the ceremony in this location and the reception in this location. But if it's raining on the wedding day, they might switch things up, and that will limit some locations that you can do photos in if they are setting up a bunch of chairs for a ceremony. So for example, let's say you've shot at this one venue a ton, and typically the ceremony is outside and then the reception is inside in this area. And so you kind of have in your head, okay, so if it's raining, I know that there is this spot indoors that has really beautiful giant windows that I can take them for portraits. But if it's raining, where's their ceremony gonna be? Are they gonna move their ceremony to that spot that you're thinking of doing photos? Because if there's a bunch of chairs all over the place for the ceremony setup, is that going to be a problem when you're doing photos there? So just something to think about when planning for locations for photos on a rainy wedding day is talk to the venue, think about some covered locations, think about some indoor locations that have really good light, and then also just ask your couple their comfort level on getting wet in a wedding day. So not to say that you're going to take them out in the pouring rain, but some couples are okay still going out in the rain if they have an umbrella. Some couples, even if it is raining and even if they do have an umbrella, they don't want to go out because they don't want their dress getting wet or something like that. So I want you to make sure to talk to your couples about just their comfort levels on if their feet get wet, is that going to be an issue? If the bottom of the train gets wet, is that going to be an issue? Are they able to go out with an umbrella? Do they not want to be outside at all if it's raining? Do they only want to stay in covered areas? These are all going to be great information for you as you are planning for photo locations on a rainy wedding day. So speaking of clear umbrellas, I think it's really important that if you are planning for a rainy wedding day, make sure to tell your couple to buy some clear umbrellas. I think having clear umbrellas is always a really great option to have for photos on a wedding day. Clear umbrellas are way better than solid colored umbrellas because clear umbrellas, you still get that light penetrating through the umbrella, whereas if it's a solid colored umbrella like black or purple or whatever, that light is not going to be coming through the umbrella and it's going to be really dark under the umbrella. So clear umbrellas is the way to go. I tell my couples to buy clear umbrellas. I have clear umbrellas that I bring myself. I think I personally own 5 clear umbrellas. Now that's not enough for a full wedding party, but it's definitely enough for a bride and groom, maybe for also their best man or maid of honor, or whoever is in the photo. But I always recommend that they buy their own clear umbrellas just in case, and then I also bring mine just in case as well. Also, I tell my couples to, specifically if I have a bride who is wearing a dress, to tell her to wear rain boots if we plan on going outside in the rain. You don't want to be walking around wet grass in your beautiful heels because your heels are gonna sink right down into that grass, and they're gonna get really dirty, a lot more dirty than your dress, because we're typically gonna be carrying your dress around and not dragging it through mud. So shoes aren't really seen in photos anyways. They're just a really pretty detail to have. So just tell your couple, specifically if you have a bride who is wearing a dress, who is wearing some really nice heels, hey, maybe if you want to go outside for some rainy photos, we should have some weatherproof shoes, like some rain boots or something that you can wear to keep your feet dry, and so that your pretty wedding shoes are not getting wet and muddy and ruined while we're out doing photos. Next, going back to umbrellas, and this mostly pertains to you as the photographer, make sure to bring an umbrella for you and an umbrella for your second shooter, or have your second shooter bring an umbrella. I personally, how I like to photograph wedding days is I will have a raincoat on, I'll have my camera, but then I have an umbrella over me. I've tried using those sleeves that go over cameras to help protect them in the rain, and I don't really like them. I don't like when you can't see the buttons and it's all under a sleeve, and I'd rather just have my camera out in front of me how I normally do, but just have an umbrella over me protecting the camera from any rain. Now, your camera is not going to die if it gets a couple drips of rain on it, it's fine. But if it's pouring out, you do not want your camera to be poured on. So what I usually do on raining wedding days is I have either my second shooter, or I'll bring along a third person, an assistant that is basically just in charge of gear and holding an umbrella over me when we are out in the open in the rain. So this helps me so that I can still photograph the way that I normally photograph, but with the protection of my second shooter or an assistant holding an umbrella over me. And then I also have a raincoat on myself. So you as a photographer, make sure you have some sort of raincoat or poncho, some sort of waterproofing jacket on, and then also bring an umbrella to just protect your gear as well in the rain. Last but not least, it is super important as you are talking to your couple about this rain plan to be super confident in the plan yourself. I think that couples, when they see that it's going to rain on their wedding day, that can always be a little bit of a downer and kind of disappointing, because most couples don't imagine their wedding days as being rainy days. And so I think it's just super important for us as photographers to be that positive influence on them and let them know, hey, I know it's gonna rain on your wedding day. I know that's not what we planned, but we're still gonna get amazing photos. This is the plan that I have in place. We're gonna go to these locations and it's gonna be super amazing. And make sure you buy some umbrellas, make sure you bring some waterproof shoes if we're gonna go out in the rain or in the field. There are just so many things that we could do on a rainy wedding day to make sure that we're still getting really awesome photos. And I feel really confident that it's still gonna be a really awesome day no matter what. So I think just make sure that you're being that positive influence on your couples and letting them know how confident you are in yourself and how confident you are that you're still gonna be able to get really amazing photos that they are going to love and cherish. And I think that putting them in that positive mood makes all the difference, because when couples go into a wedding day being disappointed and being worried and thinking, oh my gosh, I just spent all this money on photography and now our photos are gonna suck, like that's not a really good mindset to go into on your wedding day. It's gonna make them in a bad mood. It's gonna make your job harder, because you could tell that they're not being their normal selves. So it's just really important to be confident, let them know that you have a plan. They're still gonna get really amazing photos, and you are still really excited to be there on their wedding day and be there for them and whatever they need from you. So that's all I have to say about how to make a plan for a rainy wedding day for your couples. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Speaking of weddings, I have my personal wedding photography workflow for free available for you to download. It's in the description down below. This entire wedding workflow is how I work with my couples from start to finish, starting with emails that I send them, when I send them their questionnaires, when I have phone calls with them, when I deliver sneak peek images and engagement images, and just basically my entire step-by-step workflow for weddings. It is all available for you if you would like to know what my workflow is, and you can, look at it and apply some of that to your own photography workflow for your wedding clients. That is available for you for free. Just click the link down in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another YouTube episode. Bye, guys.